Okay, here at Carrington, where we've been watching open training and Ruben Amorims and Harry Maguire do their press conference ahead of the Rangers game in the Europa League this week. I think everyone was bracing themselves for what Ruben would say in relation to what happened after that Brighton game. His comments, the so-called damage to the changing rooms, calling this the worst Manchester United side ever. I mean, I've been around Carrington today, I've spoken with journalists, there's a lot going on here at Manchester United right now, and it is all of what's happening next, what is to come with Manchester United. It's going to do a little bit of walking around just as I'm on the go. But yeah, so first of all, in terms of open training and who was actually at open training, Marcus Rashford was there. Big questions about him, obviously, and what's going on with his future at the moment, hot topic. Just on Garnacho as well, he was also at training, but Ruben Amorims was not for answering questions regarding Garnacho, not even talking about it. He basically shut down James Ducker of the Telegraph in asking that question. Only wants to speak about the game, his players' improvements. To be honest, in terms of the players there, all expected. Rashford, Antony was there, which surprised a few people with the so-called imminent move over to Real Betis. But to be honest, when asking a United member of staff what the situation was, it does look like everything is going according to plan with that. It's just formalities being ironed out. Antony is still leaving on loan. That's come from United directly. So Antony's definitely going. He's keeping fit and staying training until the move is a definite and we can move forward with the next stages of that. So yeah, reality is Rashford back in training because no one wants him yet, so there's no decent offers for Manchester United. So integrating back into the training squad, whether or not that means Ruben is happy with him and he's going to be back in the matchday squad. Obviously this will be game 11 for Marcus Rashford in terms of missing out on matchday squads. So we'll see what happens past that in terms of who is going to be in and around the squad tomorrow. We'll be in the press box tomorrow as well, so hopefully get game and team news quite early in that one. But yeah, in terms of everything else around here, the players, you've seen the shorts and the videos that I've put up earlier on today. I mean, it was the warm-up. Didn't look like much was going on. There was much interest. But the interesting thing was Ruben Amorims in his press conference. Now, to start off with the press conference, it turned into the Harry Maguire one. Because I think for the first 6 minutes of that presser, it was all Harry Maguire. He was the one talking. He was the one answering all of the questions. Everyone was sending questions to him simply because Ruben Amorims had come out with what he said in that press conference after the Brighton game. Being part of this, how does that affect you when your manager comes out and calls you part of the worst squad in Manchester United's history? Now that, I think, is an obvious one that was going to be asked, but Harry Maguire, to be honest, to credit to him, didn't shirk a question, said it professionally, said it how you'd expect him to say it, was honest, saying it's not good enough. We cannot make the mistakes that we're making. It's nothing to do with the system. We got a rumour there, not a rumour, sorry, a story from Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail where we were sat in the press conference, which said that United are not going to allow Ruben Amorims to change his system, or as to not really allow him to, like, don't back down. They would be shocked if Ruben Amorims actually changed his system now. They wouldn't think that he really was fully invested in what he believed in as such. But Maguire backing him up, really saying, look, we're conceding from set pieces. If we don't switch on as professionals and make the right calls early in games, calling out individual errors basically, that's what Harry Maguire was doing, and I feel like that, I think, is the most important thing. So when it comes to these players actually being questioned by their coach, Ruben spun that around and said, look, this was on me. I'm a young manager. I went into the changing room. I don't usually go into communicating and going on at players or speaking and analysing the game straight after the game. It's usually the day after, but today I felt like I needed to talk. And sometimes you make mistakes when you're younger. And he was actually owning up to saying that he made a mistake in what he did after the game. And that he wasn't talking about the players. He was talking about his own record. He's a new coach in at Manchester United that's got a worse record than the old coach in his first 10 games. And that's what he was going to. He says, that's what I'm saying. And sometimes it doesn't come across well. Sometimes it will come across as in, I am just young and I'm making a mistake. That really is what Ruben Amorims was alluding to, or that's what he was trying to say. Anyway, was what he was talking about regarding the worst Manchester United team in history. I mean, everybody's jumped on it. There's not going to be one fan that doesn't back him on that. There isn't going to be one fan that doesn't say you're not right about that. To be honest, I mean, he was brutally honest in that press conference. Didn't hold any punches. He was laughing and joking around a section of that press conference with the Guardian's Jamie Jackson, where he said, "You've got a storm coming. Are we in the storm right now?" effectively, you've been saying that these players are nervous all of the time. Is that a problem? He says, I'm not nervous, I'm frustrated. That was Ruben Amorims. Jamie Jackson came back and said, well, no, I mean, you've called these players nervous, not you. You're frustrated, but in saying that your players are nervous, do you think that will have an ill effect on the players and affect their performance? Basically getting into real hard questions on this. And Ruben's response to this was, look, do you want me to just talk delusional? Do you want me to just lie? He was brutally honest. It was a breath of fresh air in terms of the press conference and the manager actually being honest. Obviously, that is going to be criticised by the media. It's going to be saying, look, well, results are still not great. Results are still not perfect for Manchester United, or where they should be, or even at a decent half level for where United are expected to be. But still, at least the manager isn't deluding anybody. He isn't actually talking out of his ass, basically. And United really are underperforming. There's nothing else to be said about that. And I don't think anyone's going to disagree with Ruben Amorim when he says that this is probably one of the worst performing Manchester United sides in history right now. I mean, you can go right back to when you could date the actual worst team in history, but still, when you look at United right now, what they're doing on the pitch, it's quite clear that the results are not good enough. It's quite clear that everything is not on where it should be, or not working where it should be. I just seen Ruben walk past there, actually. I wasn't allowed a question today, obviously slept back into United after my episode last time, as everyone knows. But yeah, definitely interesting and tense press conference there. It was a strange environment around Carrington today. Even staff looking at the situation, and when asked in a group with the media before we went to open training, actually, what do you think to the worst team? And through gritted teeth, staff members talking like it's I don't know which way to go with that. It's kind of like confusing. So Ruben has gone out full guns blazing in the press conference just to cover that up, to say he's talking about the situation, him, not so much his players being the worst. They are playing in a team which on paper is performing the worst in terms of results, and the league does never lie, and we know this. I think that's what he's alluding to. There is a bit of lost in translation feeling about it, but he did say that he made a mistake in what he did in the dressing room. He did say he reacted to it badly. I'm a young coach. Sometimes, only being the age I am, I will make mistakes, and you learn from it. Or perhaps I won't. It was like talking to a normal person. There was no politics involved. There was nothing covering anything up. It was just out there and raw. And I do have to say this. I've said this before, even when Harry Maguire's been bad, like, he talks like a Manchester United player. And credit to Harry for owning up and fronting up to the media today, because that was a difficult one. All the media were talking before we went into the press, like, who's the player going to be? Like, who of the worst ever Manchester United team members are actually going to come out and sit next to a coach that's called them the worst ever? It was dealt with well, it was dealt with as you'd expected it to. There's a lot been brushed under the carpet from weekend, but ultimately it's all going to come down to that reaction on the pitch. It's all going to come down to what comes next, and that's Rangers tomorrow night. So if they don't perform in that game, that's like the media was saying, and everyone's saying the same thing, it does actually look like United are up shit creek without a paddle, and it will be knives out if United get beat by Rangers. Just a quick one of note on the transfer front as well. Speaking to Laurie Whitwell of The Athletic before the press conference, he says United, by the sounds of it and what he's hearing, can make the Patrick Dorgu transfer. He can make that happen before PSR even kicks in. It can happen no matter what. So that's one that they can make this January transfer window, even without selling players. So that's one to actually just note there as well. But for me and Carrington, that is it. Sorry you couldn't get anything live. Impossible, the situation around here today. Very hush-hush and rush, to be honest, and section to section. And yeah, we'll go again. And we'll see you tomorrow at Rangers in terms of on-the-spot actual action. But I'll be back live later on with the more evening roundup. We'll see what comes of this press conference. Right now, the media is all packed full of what Ruben said. So we're going to dissect that. That's my thoughts on everything here from actually at Carrington and what the mood was like today. But yeah, that I think is really the point to make here. Again, Ruben being brutally honest. Ruben won't change. He'll learn and not react certain ways, but no, he won't change. Let me know what you think, everybody. Get your comments in below. You've seen the quotes, you've seen the footage. Let me know what you think. Get your comments in below. Like the video, share and subscribe as well. Cheers for watching, everybody.